It's no secret that there are many people out there struggling with money, but most people don't realize just how close to the edge many people are living. In this video, we'll take a look at just how many people are living with little to no money for emergencies, and go over one single financial achievement that could instantly set you ahead of about 4 in 10 Americans. Bankrate does an annual survey to find out how people are doing financially. They asked people about their emergency savings, and the results were alarming. 40% of respondents don't have enough money to cover a $1,000 emergency. This means that someone who simply has $1,000 set aside for unexpected situations is ahead of 40% of people when it comes to saving money. Considering that 6 in 10 people faced an unexpected expense last year, it's clear that financial emergencies aren't just a possibility, they're a real, frequent occurrence. If you knew there was a 60% chance you'd need an emergency fund within the next 12 months, and every year after that, wouldn't you do everything you could possibly do to make sure you're prepared? The reality is that life throws curveballs, and without a safety net, those surprises can quickly become major setbacks. Constantly worrying about how to cover an unexpected expense adds unnecessary stress to your life. That stress isn't just frustrating, it can have a serious impact on your mental and emotional well-being. Being prepared with even a small emergency fund can offer peace of mind and help you handle challenges without the looming fear of financial turmoil. $1,000 doesn't go very far these days, especially when you consider how quickly even a small emergency can add up to that amount. For instance, something as simple as a car repair, like fixing a broken alternator or replacing worn-out brakes, can easily cost $1,000 or more. A trip to the doctor for an unexpected illness along with a prescription can quickly put you over that threshold, especially if your insurance doesn't cover all of it. Even everyday appliances, like a refrigerator or washing machine, can break down at the most inconvenient times, and the cost to replace or repair them often falls around $1,000. And let's not forget about pet emergencies, like an unexpected surgery or treatment, which can also add up fast. In all these situations, having $1,000 saved up can help you avoid putting yourself into debt. But without that cushion, these small emergencies can quickly become major financial burdens. People with a fully funded savings account often don't realize just how dire it is to have nothing set aside. If you've never been in that situation, it's hard to truly understand how financially fragile life can be when there's no cushion to fall back on. It means living with the constant stress of knowing that one unexpected expense could send everything into a tailspin. Emergencies don't wait until it's convenient, and they're not uncommon. They happen all the time. So what happens when one does? What happens when your car breaks down? If you don't have the cash, what are your options? You might have to put it on a credit card, assuming you even have one, which can help at the moment, but then you're stuck with a bill that's racking up 20% or 30% interest. How realistic is it to pay that off when you're already struggling to save? Maybe you try to borrow from family or friends, but not everyone has that option. And if you can't get your car fixed, will you still be able to get to work? Will you be forced to miss shifts, putting your next paycheck at risk? Or what if it's not your car, but your rent that's due, and you're short on cash? Landlords aren't exactly known for their flexibility, and most won't let you slide on a payment just because you're in a tough spot. If you can't come up with the money, you could be looking at late fees, eviction notices, or even losing your home entirely. And once you're behind, it can be nearly impossible to catch up. Even smaller emergencies can have a snowball effect. A medical bill, a sudden increase in utility costs, or a necessary home repair. Without savings, these can force people into making impossible choices, like whether to pay for food or keep the lights on, or going into debt if they even have that option. A surprising 27% of US adults don't have any emergency savings at all. Zero, nothing, which is pretty alarming. When you break it down by generation, the numbers tell an even clearer story. About 29% of Gen Zers, 34% of Millennials, and 31% of Gen Xers have no savings set aside for emergencies. Meanwhile, baby boomers are in a better spot, with only 16% lacking a safety net. What's really interesting is that Gen Z, the youngest group, is actually doing better than Millennials and Gen Xers when it comes to savings. Even though they're just getting started in their careers and dealing with things like student loans, low starting salaries, and rising living costs, they're still managing to put something aside. That brings up an interesting question. Are younger generations becoming more serious about saving because they're gaining more financial knowledge? With so much information available on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and other social media, it's possible they're actually absorbing and applying what they learn about personal finance. More exposure to budgeting tips, investing strategies, and money-saving hacks could be influencing how they handle their finances. Or is it more about awareness than knowledge? Maybe they're watching others struggle and want to avoid the same fate. With the cost of living rising, student loan debt piling up, and so much economic uncertainty, younger generations just might be more aware of the financial hurdles ahead and doing their best to prepare. Either way, one thing is certain. Saving for emergencies is still a major challenge for many Americans, regardless of age or financial know-how. On the other hand, 28% of people have at least 6 months' worth of expenses saved, which is really what everyone should aim for. Financial experts typically recommend having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up to cover unexpected expenses. Having closer to 6 months' worth of savings is even safer, especially for those who are self-employed, work on a freelance basis, have variable incomes, or have no investments or retirement that can be tapped if absolutely necessary. These people face an even greater risk because their income can fluctuate, making it more difficult to predict when they might need that extra money. If interest rates go up, inflation spikes, the stock market or real estate market crash, it might translate to a decrease in income. With that said, even people with traditional jobs might want to aim for 6 months' worth of savings, since no job or income is ever fully guaranteed. Additionally, those who don't have anyone close to them that could offer financial support in a worst-case scenario, like a family member or a friend who could help cover expenses, might want even more money in a savings account. In these cases, having a larger emergency fund becomes even more crucial, as it can serve as a lifeline during times of financial uncertainty or crisis. Just under 6 in 10 US adults, 59%, are not comfortable with their emergency savings, knowing they don't have enough set aside to handle unexpected expenses. And when something does pop up, not having that safety net can make a stressful situation even worse. The truth is, having a solid emergency fund takes more cash than most people think, and how much you need really depends on your situation. If you've got a mortgage, a couple of car payments, a family to support, and no support system from relatives, your monthly bills can quickly burn through a few months of expenses. If you suddenly lost your job or had a major unexpected expense, your savings could disappear quicker than you'd expect. But not everyone needs a huge emergency fund to feel secure. If you don't have a ton of monthly bills, no dependents to support, and a solid retirement or investment account to fall back on, you might not need as much cash on hand. At the end of the day, the right amount of savings is different for everyone, but for a lot of people, getting to that comfortable level is still a struggle. The majority of people, 68%, say that inflation and rising prices are making it harder for them to save money. With the cost of everyday essentials, like food, gas, and housing, continuing to climb, many are finding it difficult to set aside extra cash. 47% of respondents pointed to high interest rates as another major factor impacting their ability to save. Whether it's more expensive borrowing costs or higher credit card payments, these rising rates are putting added pressure on household budgets. Meanwhile, 45% of people say that changes in their income or employment status have directly affected their ability to save. Whether they've lost a job, had their hours cut, or experienced some other shift in their earnings, these disruptions make it even tougher to put money away. Finally, 44% of respondents cited other factors as reasons for why they're saving less than before. It's crazy to think that having just $1,000 in emergency savings puts you ahead of 40% of Americans. This isn't just a personal money problem, it's a nationwide issue. When so many people are one unexpected expense away from financial trouble, it has ripple effects on the entire economy. More people relying on credit, taking on more debt, and dealing with higher stress levels can lead to lower productivity, reduced spending, and a heavier strain on social services. But could younger generations be shifting this trend to a different direction?